like a bird in the sky. The legend of the electric scooter guy. No gas, no fumes, just a hum in the air. A helmet on crooked, like he doesn't care. With a backpack full of snacks and a gleam in his eye. He's the hero we need, the electric scooter guy.
Get up, Scooter fam. Today, I just want to do a quick video, pretty much on the Nami Klima. I've had it almost a year, so I bought it last September. Don't remember exactly what day it was, but anyway, coming up right on a year. So I thought I'd do sort of a 1 year review of the Nami Klima, and so I'm going to kind of go over it, talk about my experience with it so far, all the little things that I've had along the way to do to it, and just overall my experience. However, I'm also going to go over a scorecard, and I'm going to do these scorecards for all my reviews coming up. So I did the scorecard for the first time for the Segway Max G3, and I kind of liked it. So I'm going to use the same scorecard to go along and score all of the scooters that I review and give my opinions on, so that it keeps it kind of structured, so that if I give a whatever on acceleration for the Klima versus the Max G3, it's all relative, and it doesn't seem like that I'm being overly critical to one and not critical enough to the other, or at least those things are more clear. So as opposed to me just saying, oh, I kind of like this, I kind of like that, I'm going to give it a score out of 10. And like I said, I want to do this for all my scooters now, since I did it for the Max G3. And so I'll be going through and doing that for them. I'm also want to take a test ride on the same course, but I'll get to that when I get a chance. But in any case, I want to go ahead and get started with the Klima. Much like I do in my videos, I'm going to start kind of taking a general look at it, take a look at the specs, talk about it a bit, and then I will go over my scoring for each category, and then I have a quick video to watch at the end there. We'll look at some footage, and we'll just chat a bit. I have some things to chat about anyway that aren't necessarily about the Klima, but so let's dive into the Klima first of all. So right now the Klima is $19.99. This is the one that I have, so it's the one that I'm showing, which is the 25 amp hour Klima, and you know, $19.99 is a great price. I don't necessarily recommend buying it from Wired Rides, but it's the only place that I know of currently that you can get it from in the United States. So there you have it. If you're interested, $19.99 at Wired Rides. Leave it at that. I think in general, you guys kind of know I'm pretty happy with the scooter, but let me just let me go over some of the specs. The max speed is 42 miles an hour. I've never been 42 on it. Only been about 30 miles an hour on it myself. You do have to be in X mode and in turbo mode to get there. So that's something to take into consideration. It's a dual 1,000 watt motor, one-piece tubular aircraft grade aluminum. The frame is, obviously awesome. Climbing ability 50 degrees. I wouldn't doubt it. Net weight is about 79 pounds. I think it's been weighted like 80 something. I haven't weighed it myself, but 80-ish pounds. Suspension, front and rear adjustable KKE shocks, obviously great. Display, large TFT display. I think it's the right size. I don't necessarily need a display that takes up half of the handlebars. Something about what the size of a cell phone. It's even a little smaller than that. I actually think it's perfect. I love the size of it. So I like it a lot. Max range is 50 miles. And I've gotten 40 to 50 miles out of it. So I can attest to that. based on the way I ride. Battery is 60 volt, 25 amp hours for this one. Controller has dual 48 amp sine wave controllers. Max load is 265. Charge time 4 to 8 hours. I find it to be more like 4 to 6, but I've never let it go down to 0. The charger has a fan too, so it's cooled. No heat issues with the charger. The brakes are 2-piston Logan hydraulic brakes, although I've upgraded mine to 4-piston. Not because they're inadequate, just because I wanted to try it, and I do like them better. The IP rating is IP55, which is okay. All right, now for the scores. I'm going to go over the scores. And acceleration, probably one of the best things about getting a Nami is the acceleration. Acceleration is through the roof. Smooth acceleration, just a really over-the-top powerful acceleration. So much so that I have to ride around in sports mode, which is a middle mode for the Klima. It has eco, D mode, dynamic mode, I think it is. S for sports mode, C for custom mode, and X for extreme, I believe. So those are 5 modes, and I ride around in sports mode. The middle is perfect for me for my riding. If I wanted it to be a bit more punchy, I could definitely crank it up and have it do that. And if I wanted the most out of it, then I would ride around X and turbo mode to get the maximum performance. Leading me up to, and so acceleration for me is a 9.5 out of 10. Top speed, 42 miles an hour. For this, it goes beyond. I haven't hit it yet, so it's more than enough for me. You do have to be in X mode and turbo to hit the top speed, which is, it's not necessarily something that I think you should have to do. Like, you should be able to I mean, you can, it doesn't matter because you can kind of adjust X mode to be what you want it to be, but you would think that you would be able to use the full power of the miles per hour in any mode. Turbo might increase acceleration or something like that, but anyway, so to put in turbo mode and open up the full 42 miles an hour only when you're in X mode or something like that, I kind of don't get that part. In either case, I gave it a 9 out of 10 because I've never even needed to go that fast. Hill climbing, spectacular. You go as fast as you want to up hills. Any hill that I've been on, no issues whatsoever with the Klima climbing hills. So 9.5 out of 10. Braking is wonderful. I use one finger. I use the 4-piston hydraulic brakes. The 2 pistons were fine. I've never had to use more than one finger on any of them. It comes to a stop very easily. Like I said, from a performance standpoint, as far as braking, it's as good as it gets. I did give it a 9 out of 10. Ride quality is something also that you come to expect when you buy a Nami product, especially the Klima and the Bernese as well. From what I understand, the Stellar's decent, but you can't adjust the shocks, which is one of the better things about these. About the comfort is that you can adjust the KKE hydraulic shocks to dial in your own personal experience. So I give it a 9.5 out of 10 for that. Stability at speed, don't have a problem with stability whatsoever. My one recommendation, I mean, it's not really a recommendation. I like the scooter just as it is, but I feel like it would be more planted if it were lower to the ground. And so I'm not necessarily requesting this scooter be redesigned to be lower to the ground, but I am saying that I feel like it would feel more planted if it were low to the ground. And maybe that's not the point of this scooter and how it's designed for a little bit more capabilities besides just riding on a flat surface. But as far as the road goes, uh, I really, it's not, once again, it's not unstable at all. But if it were lower to the ground, I feel like it will feel more planted. If I'm riding around with the suspension, I mean, I could tighten it up a bit, but when I hit bumps on the road, I am moving around. So going 30 miles an hour and bouncing is a little bit. It's like I said, it's not. I don't feel like I'm gonna fall or anything, but it's not as nice as just kind of just hit it. Having more a lower to the ground feel. So you don't have that. You don't feel like you're kind of up high bouncing around. That's the only thing. I could tighten up the suspension a bit to get less bounce of it, but I'd still be sitting up pretty high off the ground. I still would kind of get that sensation. So if it were low to the ground, I feel like that alone would make a pretty big difference. Still, I gave it a 9 out of 10 for stability at speed because I never felt uncomfortable at speed whatsoever, unsafe at all. Handling for its size does really well. Getting in tight spaces, so forth with this scooter is probably better than it should be for the bulkiness of it because it is a fairly bulky scooter. Before I saw other scooters compared to it, such as the Apollo Phantom, which I was deciding between when I got the Klima. Very happy with my choice. Not that I don't like the Phantom, but I'm very happy with the Klima. You know, just having having the ability to be as big as it is and still be able to maneuver in and out of tight spaces. The paddle throttle makes slow speed control just amazing, and so just going at a crawl and being able to just go in a tight space and with this scooter is just pretty amazing for its size. Like I said, it's a bit of a bulky scooter when you compare it to some other similarly priced and class scooters. And so I gave it a 9 out of 10 for handling. Build quality, rock solid. I love the plug and play customization abilities to kind of do what you want to the scooter. They make it very easy to change the brakes, change the throttle, move things around. All that is so easy to do on the Klima for such a nice scooter. Level of performance to just be able to play with it and move it around, just make it your own, is really just, I love it, and I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. The deck space, plenty of room, plenty of feet room, comfort, no problem. You've got that little footrest on the back, though I don't use those very often. From time to time, I do find myself putting my heel back there, but it's pretty rare. It's not needed either. There's plenty of space to not only have your feet there, but to kind of make adjustments with average size feet, of course. So I wear a size 10, and I have no problems with foot space. Like I said, not just where to put my feet, but the ability to shift that around if my feet start getting a little cramped while I'm riding on a long ride. So, 9 out of 10. Handlebar ergonomics. I have no problem with the handlebar ergonomics. I felt like it was really nice, high enough, wide enough, very controllable, really stable feeling handlebars in general. The stem has some flex to it, but not ever. I don't ever feel once again unstable. So it's not so. There's some flex, but it goes with the scooter, and as long as you're not putting all the weight, which you shouldn't be anyway, on the scooter, you're not going to feel that. I'm using my legs to counter the forces of the acceleration and braking, rather than letting the handlebars take that on. So let's see. Then we've got handlebar ergonomics. I gave a 9 out of 10. Controls and display. The paddle throttle is my favorite throttle. For sure, I love that. The only complaint, it's not really a complaint or recommendation or whatever, for the because it's not too difficult. But if I were designing the display, I would make the miles per hour larger than it is. I like the size of the display itself, but I wish the speedometer took up a larger section of the middle there. I wish the numbers were just bigger. So like I said, I don't want to create a huge display for that reason. I like the size of it, but if the miles per hour just represented a larger part of the screen, for me that would be better. No other issues, so I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 for that. Battery and range, 40 to 50 miles for me. The way I ride, more than enough. Was actually surprised by that. I didn't think about that, of course, the larger battery and so forth. But when I heard people getting 20-ish miles of range, I was concerned, because I was only getting like 20 from my Journey Max, and I get at least twice that. But of course, the battery size is twice that. So I do have more performance, which brings it down a little bit. But like I said, I still get 40 to 50 miles from the Klima, riding it the way that I do. So I did give it a 9.5 out of 10 for a range. This is the 25 amp hour as well. The range readout, the percentages, always seems to be pretty accurate. Drops at a what I would say is a predictable amount, and I've dropped it around to 20-ish% before I recharge it. Lately, I've been going, if it drops below 50, I recharge. Just to make sure that I'm keeping pretty charged up all the time. I don't necessarily let it drop to 20%, but for no specific reason, except I've just been doing that across the board with all of my PEVs, including the Unicycle and the Apollo Go and Apollo City as well. So the range readout is great. Like I said, it's predictable. It doesn't drop terribly from one trip to another. I've tested that out fairly well. On the Journey Max, I mean, you had 5 bars, and no percentage really, but you got 5 bars, and the first bar would drop pretty slowly, and the second bar would drop much faster, and so forth. So as you got lower, it would drop quicker. You get used to that, but that's not the case with the Klima. It seems like the percentages drop around the same miles each time. So that's very consistent and very predictable. So 9.5 out of 10. Charging is amazing. It's got a huge charger. I want to say it's like a 4 or 5 amp hour charger, something like that. Charges a 60 volt, 25 amp hour battery in like 4 to 6 hours. That's my experience I don't charge it from 0, but from anywhere from 20 to 20, 40, somewhere in there. It's going to be like 3-4 hours maybe. Honestly, it can charge really fast, and it's got a fan built in, so it's a little loud, but I kind of like it too, because I can hear when it's done. So it's got an auto shut off feature, When it's done charging and it turns green, the light turns off, the fan turns off. So I'm not constantly looking over there and seeing is it still charging. All of my other things that I charge, there's no fan, and so I'm constantly looking over there saying, has it turned green yet? With the Klima, it's got the noise. It may be a little annoying to some people, but when the fan cuts off, I know it's done charging. Kind of like that. 9.5 out of 10 for charging. Some of the additional features, the motorcycle style horn is great, really loud. The headlight is okay. At night I've ridden with it. It's enough to get by, but it's not spectacular. If I did a lot of night riding on the Klima, I would have to get a better headlight. And so suspension, no problem, no water issues. Although it's a 55 IP55, which is not spectacular. I haven't personally had any water issues. So it at least holds up the way that it says it does. And for the additional features, I gave it a 8.5 out of 10. Portability, I did grade it on portability, although I don't see that this scooter is one that you would buy for portability. So if you're looking for a portable scooter, this is not the one. However, for its performance, I feel like it is fairly portable in that regard. You can probably squeeze it in somewhere if you had to. If I had to, what I probably would do is remove the handlebars and put it in the trunk. I'm pretty sure if I remove the handlebars so it could all fold down into one way, then I could fit it in the trunk, and that would only be like an emergency situation. I'm not going to do all that just to take it somewhere and then put it back on. If I wanted to, but I have a sedan, and so me putting it in the trunk would be a challenge with the handlebars the way they are, because you couldn't turn it, the wheels and so forth. So if you could turn the handlebars this way, I feel like it would slide in easier. This one is probably small enough to do that with. Though I haven't tried it, that would be my approach if it came down to it, or I chose to do that for whatever reason. I gave it a 7 out of 10 for portability. The kickstand, it's a great kickstand. I've had one issue where it fell, but that was my mistake. I was on a slope. I didn't realize it. Had nothing to do with the lack of ability of a kickstand. And even after that, the kickstand still works great. So it's a beefy, heavy, sturdy, heavy-duty kickstand. And I got no problems with the kickstand whatsoever. 9.5 out of 10. Overall impressions of the scooter for fun factor, that's what it is. It's a fun scooter. It's zippy. It's high acceleration, pretty much as you want. Smooth handling. It's built for fun. It's built for fun. To be honest, it's small. It's nimble. That's fun is this scooter's middle name. You can even in my opinion, you go to like the Bernese, so forth, and they probably got a little bit more acceleration. They probably have a little bit better feel, but they're not going to be as nimble. They're not going to feel as nice like that. So I feel like the fun factor for this scooter is top notch, and so I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Value for the money, at $2,000, I don't know if you can find a better scooter. I'm pretty sure you cannot. I've done my research. Some of the scooters that I considered buying it instead of the Klima, I've ridden now, considering the Apollo V4. I like the Apollo, the Phantom V4. I was going to buy the V4X. The really only difference between those, I think, is the tires are tubeless on the V4X. I'm not sure if there's another difference between them, but in any case, performance and so forth is the same. And I really like the Apollo Phantom. But no, the Klima is hands down, $2,000. In my opinion, the best scooter out there. I'm sure. I like it better than the Phantom Stellar right now. I honestly believe that. They're both 60 volt systems, but I just don't think that this is gonna come close. The 160 volt that I think that maybe could is the RS6. I think that to me that comes the closest to what I would consider to be Klima like. I mean, it seems very Klima like, to be honest. It's high amped controllers. 60 volt system says it can go 60 miles an hour. That's even claiming that is crazy. So, but once again, we're talking $3,000. We're not talking about $2,000 anymore. And so even at $3,000, $3,500, the Klima still could be better in general. I don't know how the RS6 handles. There's a lot of things I don't know about it. I think acceleration could be on par. Top speed may be better. And I'd have to see. It would be tough, but once again, we're talking. It's another $1,000 on top of the price of the Klima. So, bang for the buck. I just don't know if there's a better scooter out there for the money than a Nami Klima at $2,000. I paid $18.99. That was probably because Fluid Free Ride was going out of business, and I didn't know that at the time. But I felt very lucky to have gotten it for $18.99. And so, yeah, that's for me definitely bang for the buck. At $19.99, I give it a 9 out of 10. And it's a $2,000 scooter for sure. At $18.99, it gets a 9.5 out of 10. So if you get it at $18.99, snatch it quick. $19.99, if you really are looking for this type of scooter, bang for the buck. I mean, you cannot go wrong with the Nami Klima. Would I recommend it? So before I get into that, I recommend it. I do. I think it's wonderful. But I wanted to point out that during my review of the Segway Max G3, I let my buddy ride the Klima while I rode his Max G3 and did a review. And so I wanted to give him kind of a chance to kind of ride it for a couple of days while I rode the Max G3, kind of for him to get a feel for it on his own, kind of do his own thing with it. And the feedback that I got was interesting. For me, I love the scooter. I think it's great. It's my favorite scooter I have. And it would be the one I would miss the most if I had to get rid of my scooters. There are some that like the City, that's my go-to everyday scooter, and as far as that goes, I probably would miss that one quite a bit. But if I had to let go of, if I could only keep one, it would be the Klima, just because it can do it all. It can, it's fun, it gets great range. It just does. I can do anything I want with it. But I don't only want one scooter, so I like them all. But the point is that I think it's amazing. His feedback was not as great as mine overall. He thought the throttle was too aggressive, and so he doesn't like the paddle throttle. And I say it could take some time to kind of get used to it, but the truth of the matter is, it did not take me any time to get used to it. It was a natural fit for me. The moment I started using it, I used the inside of the throttle, not the actual paddle, because of Paul, Electric Scooter Guide's recommendations, and it worked amazing. I never had a problem, never. he said arrest his thumb. I don't necessarily rest my thumb on the part before there. I actually just use the part on the inside of the throttle to use, and so it just gives me just enough control, and I've never had a problem. So maybe that's just a personal preference. Maybe it's just a natural thing. I went from the Journey Max, which is incredibly jumpy, but it was a standard thumb throttle, to the Klima, which is way easier to control than the Journey Max. Although much more powerful, that's a good thing. The Journey Max is very jumpy, very pop, so forth. Thumb throttle, a lot of acceleration. This one obviously can give you more acceleration if you want than the Journey Max, but it's much more controllable, and you only for me get what I want out of it. And so his feedback was that, like on the Segway Max G3, if you just punch the throttle, it's not gonna throw you back. It goes pretty quick. It gets up there pretty fast. Not Klima fast, but fast enough for most people, and it does it gradually. So you can just lay down on the throttle on the Max G3, and it'll just take you up very nicely. You lay on the throttle on the Klima, even in sports mode, and it's gonna go. It's gonna go now, not later. And so that takes some getting used to. And then if you punch it up to custom mode or X mode, it's gonna really go. And 0 to 15 in 2 seconds. So it's a fast scooter, acceleration wise. And so he didn't like that. I put the bigger handlebars on there by then. He didn't necessarily like. I think he liked the regular size handlebars. I really enjoy the wide feel of it. More and more the more I ride it. At first I didn't really, it wasn't like too much different. I like the look and everything, but after riding it a few times, I'm like, man, this feels really nice to have it out wide like that. I know Scooter Gang does that to all his scooters that he rides a lot, and I can see why. I definitely like it. So, I think another thing he didn't like was that you had to be in turbo mode to be able to, and I mentioned that, to be able to get into the highest speed that he wanted to go, and he just felt like he never actually got to do that, use it that way. So he was trying to get to the above 40, and he couldn't really get above 40 because he didn't know how to use the X mode and turbo mode. And so that can be a little tricky, and I can understand his feelings around that. Although, like I said, for me, I wasn't personally needing to get up there, and if I did, I could figure that out. But he was just testing for a couple of days. That was his feedback. He realizes it's a really nice scooter, and he loves the scooter, but he doesn't think it's for him. And he wants something with a lot smoother throttle, and something that gets to speed a little bit more controllable, without having to feather the throttle or whatnot. So his thing was, I told him at the time that I could control the throttle better on the Klima than I could the Max G3. I found, it's got the little quarter twist thumb throttle thing, and I found it difficult to kind of dial in, when I'm trying to go a certain speed. Now, of course, if I just nail it and push it down, it'll go, but that's not how I ride. It's not how I ride. I give as much as needed at the time. So I'm not kind of a scooter rider to just get on every scooter and just push it in and see where it goes. I'm once again, even from the Journey Max, I had to learn how to bring that throttle on slowly, and that takes some time. That takes some control. And with the Apollo City, same thing, very smooth. You can nail that thing, and it's not going to throw you. it's just very easy. It's very easy as opposed to the Klima. You push it, it's gonna go. So you got to be able to control it. You got to be able to. And with these higher performance, my opinion, scooters, from what I understand, is like you're gonna get that. You go to some of these things that are just beast scooters, and you're gonna have to, in my opinion, you're gonna start learning how to play with that throttle a little bit, as opposed to just flooring it and having it go. But once again, it is not for everyone. I recommend it, but not for everyone. So you probably should be experienced. Not my buddy's experienced. He's ridden motorcycles. He's ridden scooters longer than I have. But my thing, other than the Phantom, I think is the most powerful scooter he's ridden, and so I believe that's correct. And so that's as much as he's really had to deal with as far as like power and acceleration, which is not on par with the Klima. And so it's just a much more powerful feeling scooter, I think. And I believe you'll have to, you'd have to get a feel for these types of scooters in general to really appreciate them. But if you do have an appreciation for them, I highly recommend it for sure. But I don't recommend it for everyone. He made a good point. If a person is inexperienced and they jumped on the Max G3, they could go and probably have a good time fairly safely, and they'd be pretty safe to get on and do that. On the Klima, someone that didn't that was inexperienced and didn't have the ability to do that, or have the touchdown or whatever, it can be dangerous. I can see that, and so I have to point that out. It does offer a lot of bang for the buck acceleration, and requires some a touch and some experience as well. 9 out of 10 for my recommendation, what I recommend. And then bring my final score to 9 out of 10. I give the Nami Klima a 9 out of 10 overall, and highly recommend it for someone who is experienced and has a touch for very quick accelerating scooters, and has an appreciation for that. Otherwise, something a little bit more friendly may be recommended. Let's take a look at some footage. This is a quick ride from Walmart home on the Nami Klima. Actually, you can see the nice wide handlebars there. I do plan on moving the throttle a little closer. I think when I was adjusting everything, and I have such wide handlebars, I put it a little too far away from my thumb. So I was able to get by. But since I use the inside of the throttle, I just need it to be a little bit better. I do have my 360 on my top. You can see my little electric scooter guy sticker. I tell you, I put on all my PEVs. I haven't put anything on the Go yet, but I have it on the City, the Klima, and the V11Y. And I have that one mount there. I think I did try that on the City once, but I lose the ability to see behind me when I do that, and I don't necessarily use the footage like that anyway. So I found it to be better to ride with the 360. But I did put the mount on there just in case I decide to put it on there. It's there, and I can do it. So I have them both on the City and the Klima in case I decide to get some footage that way one day. All right, what I really wanted to talk about was I said I was going to do a video of Voro Motors live stream giveaway of the RS Jet, and I did go. I did attend, and I did record it. But I was disappointed. I was disappointed in it, and I didn't want to make a whole video about it. I didn't want to upload that video. I didn't think it was worth uploading, and so I thought I would do a video going over the Klima real quick, scoring it the same way that I did the Max G3. I've had it a year now, so I thought I'd do a year in review of the Nami Klima and give my overall scores for everything. And so the giveaway was supposed to be for anyone in the United States, which didn't even make sense. Whatever. Was supposed to be for anyone in the United States, and you had to go on Facebook and you had to comment on the post itself, like the post, share the post, and tag a friend. There was like a few different things you had to do to sign up for the free giveaway. And so I did all that, and as a lot of people did, and was expecting the winner to be announced on the live stream, and they ended up having the person already there. The person that won the scooter was already there, and so a couple of things, that just hit me kind of wrong was that this person was in Los Angeles, and some of the people started saying, how is the winner already there? We were told that we had up until yesterday evening, the end of the day, yesterday, the day before the live stream, to sign up. And how could that be if you've already got the winner there in the office with you doing the thing? So a lot of people made comments to that. Voro responded in the chat, whoever it was that was doing that, said that they took a handful of names and chose someone from the area to come pick it up. Now that, to me, that means that you had to be in Los Angeles to win. Even the people who were drew from the short list weren't given a fair shot to win the scooter. That makes no sense to me. And so I feel a bit let down from that, and I'm going to be honest about that. I don't think this was done intentionally. Obviously, it wasn't done out of sneakiness, because they're very open about it, which is, I don't know if something's getting lost there. But the point is that didn't really make any sense. It didn't make any sense to tell people that you can be in the United States to win, and so forth. I think maybe at the end what the problem was they did this giveaway and they didn't want to have to pay for shipping and give the scooter away for free, so they wanted to give it to someone that could come get it. Simple. But the way they played it off in the chat was just, oh yeah, we selected a few names and then we picked one of the names out of that few that could come get it, which means no one ever had a shot that wasn't going to be able to come pick it up, period. So I saw someone in the chat say, you're just talking to other people. I didn't comment, but a lot of people were commenting and not happy about it. And then some people were saying, you're just mad because you didn't win. No, because I couldn't win. Not that I didn't win, that I didn't even have a shot at winning. And I didn't expect to win. You always hope you win, but you don't expect to win. But the last thing I expected was the guy to be there. Everybody watching that live stream thought they had a legitimate shot to win, and that their name could be the name that was announced, and that was never the case. That was never the case. The live stream, I didn't like it as much, just in general. The first one had a lot more personal feel to it. You felt like you were part of the live stream rather than just sitting and watching a live stream. This one I felt a little bit more on the outside looking in. Not too big of a deal there, but the giveaway thing threw me, and it was, I think that they're trying to do the right thing. I think that Melvin and Voro Motors are really making an effort, but I think they're missing something, and they hurt their image when they do stuff like that. They hurt their image. They leave a bad taste in people's mouths. Everyone there thought they had a real shot. They did not have a real shot. This was not taken into consideration when they decided to choose from someone from Los Angeles. They even brought them on. They weren't hiding it whatsoever. They brought them on and they explained it and everything. I don't know. Even if that was their strategy, I wouldn't have said that. But yeah, that was interesting, and I think it's honest. Mistake or misjudgment. It's tough to rationalize as far as what their approach was on this. They made a big deal about it, watched the live stream, do all this, and then they pull a fast one, but not really, because they tell you they're what they did and everything and why they did it. They didn't say it was because that they didn't want to pay shipping. Of course, that's my expectation. Otherwise, they're like, we just did it so they could come by, swing by, and get it. That was a really interesting way of saying that. And I do have the video, so I'm not saying anything. I can't back up if need be. Everything I said is I recorded it, but I didn't want to put that video up and just trash Voro the whole time. I'm not really trying to trash them now, but considering that was their live stream, I didn't feel right about posting it and having kind of a bad taste in my mouth. I felt like it would just be kind of a go after Voro Motors kind of video, and I didn't want to do that. So I thought I'd focus on the Klima, things that I like about the Klima, overall impressions after a year or so forth, and then during the ride sort of talk about my feelings on the live stream. So I'm disappointed in the live stream. I'm disappointed. I don't know if I'll watch another one. I'm certainly not entering any more contests, because whether or not their intention is to get all this marketing data, such as emails and my friends being tagged, all that, and I never even had a chance. It just doesn't sit well with me, and so I don't appreciate that. A lot of people in the chat didn't appreciate that. A lot of them are feeling slighted, and they should. Once again, not because they didn't win, just because they never had a chance to win, and they were told that they did. All that being said, like I said, I don't have a problem with Voro Motors. I think their scooters are very, very nice. Looks like they're kind of getting away from trying to make scooters and manufacture scooters and getting more on the retail side. They mentioned that, and I just get a feel like that's where they're heading toward, and that's why they didn't go with the E-Move Daytona and instead call it the Huga Daytona, and leave it separate from them. And they're just hey, I'm just a retailer, guys, So they're going to do their best to support it, but they're not going to own full ownership of it. So that that's what I was hoping. The opposite. I was hoping they would give me a Voro Motors branded scooter that was $3,000 to $4,000 that I could count on, having a direct contact to get an answer, not hey, we'll contact the manufacturer and we'll get back to you, kind of thing. That's one one deal, but they're just a retailer, just a retailer. So it's yeah, I just have a I got a bad taste in my mouth right now for Voro. The way they handle the live stream. Not saying they're not good people. Not saying they're not trying. They are trying. I believe they're trying really hard to do the right thing, but they're misguided in a sense. I think they could use some advice. If Voro, if you see this, you want some advice. I have an MBA, and I just trying to help you guys out. I want to see you guys succeed. I think you're trying to do the right thing, but maybe your approach to some things could be a lot more customer friendly in the way you do things, promotion and so forth. So if you're interested, hit me up. You know my email. But guys, if you found this information helpful and you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. And happy riding.
Yeah. I had 63% when I left the house. At what am I already at 9? Alright, let's ride. Cruising out the gate, feeling top tier slick, fresh charge, high hopes, full battery real quick. Hit sport mode once, yeah, I felt that surge. Now I'm watching my percentage do a purge. Took the long way around just to feel that breeze. Jumped the curb like, yeah. Scraped my knees, was it worth it? Probably had my worry, kinda. Google Maps say 10 more miles, reminder. Oh, home on the range. It's where the volts drop low, and I feel that change. Where the torque was king, now it's riding strange. I just wanna make it home on the range.
Wheel wobble, raging toggle, come on baby.
Hit a hill like nope, drop the eco mode. Cutting speed like carbs on a keto low. Past the gas station with the silent scream. Do y'all got outlets or just ice cream? Pulled up beside a lime green scooter crew. They laughed, yo bro, we got 82. One said range flex, I said paint text. If I walk this thing, it's a whole leg press, yeah. Home on the range, where the watts go ghost and the trip gets strange. Trying to coast like a leaf in the fall. One more block and I'm kissing this wall. Lean back, power off, pray softly. 1% left, seeing my life flash. Gotta make it past this neighbor's crash. GPS say rerouting again. Curse my wheel, my luck, my friends. And that extra donut I went back for worth it. Home on the range, where the light turned red, but my hope remains. I could see the porch light, I could smell that food. I made it in coasting mode, barely moved. 1 foot down, baby, still counts. Battery dead, spirit charged. Might just not ride again. Until tomorrow.